Coming up on Chopper's political podcast.
Let's rebrand it. What do you call it? The Anas card.
Shall we call it the Chopper's card?
Chopper's card, of course we should. Welcome back to Chopper's political podcast, where I bring you the best guest gossip, news and stories from our studios, normally in Westminster, but this week, of course, from the Labour Party conference here in Liverpool. As the Labour Party sets the tone for the second phase of this government, it's now a straight fight with reform. We've heard from Sir Keir Starmer this week telling GB News that these aren't small boats, they're Farage boats. The fight is on, the gloves are off, and the battleground looming largest are the elections next May. Yes, there are thousands of council seats up for grabs in England. There's also the elections to the Welsh Senate, of course. But the big one, maybe the symbolic one, is the battle for Scotland, because that means a lot for the future of the Union if the nationalists win power there again. And with me now, of course, who will be leading that fight, probably maybe the biggest party of the Union, and so is keen to get the support, it seems, of Reform UK voters, Anas Sarwar, the leader of Scottish Labour. Anas Sarwar, welcome to Chopper's Political Podcast.
Good to be here.
Why are you not so obsessed by a party with 5 MPs and 0 or 1 MSP in the Scottish Parliament?
Look, I'm obsessed with changing Scotland. I'm obsessed with getting rid of the SNP, and I'm obsessed with changing Scotland for the better and reform our noise in Scotland. They can do lots of division and create lots of headlines in Scotland, but ultimately all they can do is help keep the SNP in power. So I want to say directly to GB News viewers, if you want to get rid of the SNP, if you want to end the decline of Scotland under the SNP, Scottish Labour is the only vehicle to do it, and reform can only help the SNP win.
Well, we'll come to tactical voting later, which is what you're talking about there. But is Nigel Farage living rent-free in your brain like it is in Keir Starmer's?
I think I'm living rent-free in Nigel Farage's brain, in the sense that Nigel Farage wants to portray me as some kind of outsider, portray me as some kind of enemy of my country and not loyal to my country, Scotland, or indeed the UK, when in actual fact, obviously, I'll be more Scottish than Nigel will ever be. But actually, I think I'm more representative of British values than Nigel Farage will ever be either.
You're alluding to that advert, the social media advert, if I may read it out for viewers and listeners, at the time of the May by-election in Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse. Anas Sarwar has said he will prioritise the Pakistani community. You said. That's based on a quote from 2022 when you said the Pakistanis need represented in every mainstream political party in Scotland and across the UK. So the key word is prioritise, isn't it? That's the word you contest?
So clearly he is trying to portray as if my loyalty is with one subsect of a community or in
or a different country altogether.
But let me be really clear about what I was saying in that speech, Choppers, and actually I think it's something that viewers of GB News would actually agree with, which is that I want people of all faiths and none to have a influence and a say about what their kids are taught in school. So at that time, when I made that comment, was when there was a big debate around trans education, and other issues, and about how early in a primary school some of those issues were being raised with kids, and quite rightly parents were saying, why aren't we having a say what our kids are taught at what stage of their life in their education? And the point I'm making is, of course, parents of all backgrounds should have a say and have a role in what their kids are taught in school. I don't think that's controversial. I think that's something the GB News listeners...
He leapt on the idea of the Pakistani community to make his point.
We're living in a time of what feels like pretty significant social change, and it makes us question things that we've even taken for granted for decades. And one of those at the moment that people are wondering about is actually money. Is the money in your bank account safe? Should you be investing elsewhere? Are we looking at a potential global crash? What will it mean for your savings? Is there a way that you could be using your money that might be outside of government control even? Well, TallyMoney is potentially one solution. So I'm delighted to say that I'm joined today by the CEO and founder of TallyMoney, Cameron Parry. What is TallyMoney?
Well, at TallyMoney, you basically get gold you can spend. So we give people an individual account in their name, everyday account. They get a sort code, an account number. They use that account just like they would pounds from their bank, but it's milligrams of gold that we brand as Tally.
Okay. Why would you do that, though? What is the benefit to the customer instead of just having a normal pound sterling account?
Gold's performance against the pound is above 11% per annum over the last 25 years on average. But we still need money in our daily lives, and we have savings. We know that it's good common sense and prudent to save up for things, not just live in credit. You know, whether it's a holiday or a rainy day, your retirement planning, you need to have money in your life, basically, that you can rely on, that's dependable, that nobody meddles with, that nobody can weaponise against you, which is another element of government control when it's the government currency, which we could talk about another time. And it should be pretty simple and straightforward, and that's what we deliver at Tally. And really, we just want people to feel safe and happy with their money. There was a time when the bigger your bank balance, the more confident you felt. Now it's like, I need to do something with it. I can't leave it there. In Tally, you can.
Okay, brilliant. Cameron Parry from TallyMoney, thank you so much.
Thank you, Bev.
He's always saying, I'm being misquoted all the time. I mean, but they Lib Dem saying last week on house handguns and...
This may be an unpopular view with some of your viewers, but to be honest, I think Nigel Farage is a chancer.
Yeah.
I think he's got no care about Scotland, doesn't understand Scotland, probably couldn't find many parts of Scotland without using a sat-nav. All he can do is help John Swinney and the SNP stay in power, and I want to get rid of them.
Is he racist?
Well, I think that view in that campaign was racist.
Your leader says he's racist, but the ILR
policy and many of the issues he's advocating have a racist tilt to them. But what I want to be really, really careful about, and again I think it's important for your viewers, is we could not for a moment suggest that we think those people who may be tempted to vote for reform or who on some issues may agree with reform means that they are racist. I don't believe people...
That's really important to say that, isn't it?
It is really, really important to say that. I can understand why many people are asking the same questions that reform might be asking, but I think many people will disagree with the answers that reform are giving. I think right across our country we have great people who want to see our country do great things. I don't mean to sound old trumpet for a moment there. They genuinely want a government that works for them in Scotland right across the UK, and we have got to address the underlying concerns. That's not by saying people are too stupid or they don't understand or that they're racist. No, the British people, the Scottish people are the most compassionate, most loyal and most values-driven anywhere in the world. I want to back those people 100% to change our country. 100%,
of course, agree with that. We'll come to the SNP's record in a second. I last saw you for a chat in Hamilton Public Square, was it?
That's right, yeah, Hamilton Town Centre.
And you came to me first of all the other journalists. I was quite. That's nice of Anas to come to GB News first. I think you've seen...
I like you, Choppers.
We've known
You're always so charming.
We've known each other for a long time. I give you mugs when I see you normally. But they were 1,500 votes off winning that seat, weren't they? I think that was a real wake-up call for Scotland, maybe. Maybe not for you. You may have seen it coming. But for Scotland, I think it was surprised how many votes they got. They got like 50, I think, in 2021, and they got, I think, 5,500.
There's a couple of things within that. One is it was a by-election that people predicted we were going to lose, and we won. It's also a by-election where you have a chance to use it more as a moment of protest rather than actually choosing a government.
It's always the way.
And third, there's always been quite a significant Tory party vote in that constituency, and the Tories completely collapsed in that by-election. So I think you're seeing reform replace the Conservative Party. They are obviously capturing a noise, but again, I come back to that core point. You're not choosing who the Prime Minister is next year. You're not changing the UK government next year. Keir Starmer is not the candidate for First Minister. It is me. You are deciding who the Scottish Government is. You're choosing your First Minister. And we cannot afford a third decade of John Swinney and the SNP and all the damage that would do to Scotland.
You've got a good chance here. If you got 37 out of 57 MPs in the House of Commons, so you want to build on that. And of course, back in July last year, Reform weren't really a party. Farage had been there for six weeks. Now it's been there for 18 months or 18 months shortly. Can you push through? Look at these numbers here. The Tory party is bigger than you in the Scottish Parliament. You think
from the last election?
From the last election. So you think they may collapse? And if you take their votes,
I think the Conservatives will collapse. I think Reform will push the Conservatives into 4th place, maybe 5th place, and Reform will come
So
third. I think it's a straight choice between ourselves and the SNP on who wins and who forms the government. And if you want to get rid of the SNP,
I got that.
the only vehicle of doing it is Scottish Labour and me.
Can I say, viewers and listeners, you'll hear a lot of that in the next 6 months from Anas
Again,
Sarwar and Labour.
I want to emphasise to GB News viewers, you may not agree with everything that a UK
There's your
Labour
camera.
government-
There's your camera.
You may not agree with everything a UK Labour government is doing, but I know you agree that the SNP is doing untold damage
Okay.
to our country in Scotland. So if you want to get rid of them, the only vehicle is Scottish Labour.
SNP have 60 MSPs, Tories 28, you're 21, Greens 7, Lib Dems 5, and so on. 1 for Alba, and
That's
1
from the
for
election
Reform.
in 2021.
Exactly.
And a lot's changed since
A lot has changed. I mean, the record has got worse for the SNP, no question. The Tories, they may fall right down. You're hoping to be the unionist party, aren't you? That's what's happening here.
Well, no, actually, I want to be the unifying party.
Unifying
I think it's important to make that distinction. My view on the constitution is well known. I don't support independence. I don't support a referendum. But I want.
And why not? Just why not on that point? Why don't you?
I just think we are economically and socially better being part of a UK family, and devolution gives us the ability to do things differently in Scotland while still having that broader. Look at the trade deals we've done, for example.
Yeah.
Look at the 10
Whiskey's
billion
not
pound-
quite in there yet.
Look at the,
It's nearly in there.
With India, it's in there and
Oh, in there,
doing
yeah.
well. But
Or with the
obviously
US,
see
with the US.
progress with the US. But look at the £10 billion deal they managed to strike with Norway to get guaranteed shipbuilding on the Clyde for a generation to come. That's huge. That shows you the benefit of being part of something wider, as well as being proud of being part of Scotland. So I want to unify the country, and I want to unify the country on a project and a plan for change in a new direction. The SNP have had their chance. If they had a good idea, they would have implemented it by now. After 20 years, we can't afford, and our NHS wouldn't survive a third decade of John Swinton and the SNP.
I should point out to viewers, listeners, Reform have no Scottish leader, do they?
Not yet. They have one.
They haven't got a leader.
They have one MSP.
There's no opponent for you to fight in Scotland.
Well, again,
And yet they're doing so well. It's extraordinary.
I would make this point. I think the more they get organised and the more they start to identify the people, I think the more people in Scotland will find them out and move away from them, to be honest with you.
We'll wait and see.
Because they are not going to win the election. They can't win the election.
One thing they are doing...
Nigel Farage is not a candidate for First Minister. You know who it is, Choppers? It's me and John Swinton.
Okay.
And that's the choice for
One
TV
thing
viewers.
they're doing, Anas Sarwar, is are going to Aberdeen and talking about oil and gas and reopening the fields. Where do you sit on that? That's obviously the big quality jobs up there. We hear news today from an oil refinery near Grimsby shedding 134 quality jobs. That's really serious. These are serious skilled jobs, aren't they, in Aberdeen? And Reform are backing them, but your party's policies, because of the green agenda, aren't.
So I think we need to be really careful that we can't say this is an either or. The choice here is in oil and gas or renewables. Surely, given the economic boom we can have in Scotland and the UK, the choice is both. We have got to maximise the opportunities for oil and gas, make sure it's a fair and balanced transition rather than a repeat of what happened with the mining industry. At the same time, yes, bearing the fruits of the oil and gas industry that's still to come, but also making those crucial investments so we can have the clean energy boom that is also positive for us in Scotland and the wider UK.
But it feels like an either or, what Ed Miliband's saying.
I think for many people it does feel like an either or, but for me it's not an either or. It's a both. Both are great opportunities for Scotland, and I want to make sure we're
So what does that
maximising
mean
the
practically? That means reopen some of those oil and gas fields that they want to close in the
Well,
North Sea?
there are currently licensed fields that aren't currently being explored because for lots of people the investable propositions don't exist. How do we look at making them investable propositions so we can maximise the opportunities that exist from existing oil fields? Also,
So you connect them, don't you, to the other pipes from the...
partly that, but also the fiscal arrangement always has to work for individual businesses too. But secondly, there were licenses that were granted under the last government that have been challenged, and therefore exploration is not happening. I think we've got to look at that again, so we can make sure we are maximising the opportunities, doing it in a sustainable way, but also looking at the investments that we need to make.
Are you saying drill, baby, drill?
I am saying do both. I am saying where we can drill.
Sounds good, though.
No, we can build, baby, build. Where we can drill. Where we can take advantage of wind. Let's take advantage of wind. Where we can take advantage of nuclear.
So are you making a case for Scots? You're making a case for Scots against Ed Miliband on this, are you? You're saying please don't lay waste to the Aberdeen oil industry.
I'm not saying please. I'm being much more clear about that. There is no sustainable future even in renewables, if it's not backed up with investments that come from those that currently work in oil and gas. And if you are going to get that large-scale investment, then you've got to support the oil and gas industry so they have a sustainable and fair transition, and use the fruits of that for them to also want to make the investments into renewables so we can have that double benefit from Scotland.
So he's gone too far, Ed Miliband, with his messianic approach towards green energy.
Those conversations continue. I think Ed gets the fact that we need a balanced
But he's
transition.
gone too far.
I think he gets the fact we need a balanced transition, but we've got to make it an investable proposition.
The SNP's record is poor by the polling. 4 in 10, only 4 in 10 think the NHS is doing well under the SNP. Poor record on housing, crime, council funding, social care, drug harms, rural affairs. They haven't. It is a record of failure by a lot of measures, isn't it?
Let's look at that. Let's look at the human cost of that, Choppers.
Yeah.
1 in 6 Scots on an NHS waiting list. Almost 40% of the hip and knee replacements that happen in Scotland are now paid for privately. Our schools used to be the icon,
Well,
and now they're falling down the international league tables. We've got housing
behind England now, aren't they, the schools?
Well, we're falling down the international league tables. And you're right, I mean, we're falling behind England now too. 10,000 children on homeless in our country. Police numbers being cut. We've lost community policing. It feels like shoplifting has been legalised in Scotland, given the sharp increase in shoplifting and the crimes not being investigated. We can simply not afford a third decade of the SNP.
The challenge you've got, of course, is wrapping yourself in a union flag. How's this BritCard going down? The BritCard?
Well, one is not called BritCard.
It is called a BritCard.
It's not called BritCard. It's been confirmed already. It's not called...
What's it called then? The Scott card?
We'll find out what it's called.
So it's not called a BritCard?
So it's not called a BritCard.
Who told you that? I thought I was there on Friday. It was called a BritCard on Friday.
No, I can... If this is an exclusive on GB
Okay,
News...
down the camera.
I can confirm it's not called a BritCard. But look, it depends again what this is. If we are talking about, because I understand the civil liberties argument,
Yes.
and if this is something that would be used around stop and search and things like that, I think that would be a step too far. If what this is you're getting your driving license on a digital platform,
Benefits.
and you're getting your national insurance card on a digital platform, and that digital platform can be used to verify your identification when you go for a job, and for an employer to verify your identification, which they have to do anyway in paper form. They can do it in digital form. I think that's a very good thing. But of course, I understand the civil liberties argument. And that's why if it was stop and search, I would have a very different opinion.
Yeah, well, I was there on Friday when the PM said it was about stopping the boats, and then by the afternoon it was about a broad brush new idea of getting our services. So what is it? I think that is not clear. And who's told you it's not called a BritCard, by the way?
The government has confirmed it is not the BritCard.
Have they? I mean, I missed that. I'm being too busy in this this part of the conference.
Look, let's
rebrand it. What do you call it? The Anas card.
Shall we call it the Choppers card?
Choppers card, of course we should. Well, this is the point. We're sitting here surrounded by union flags because we are GB News. Will you be comfortable wrapping yourself in that Union Jack to win over the unionist votes against the SNP? Yes, if there are 40% of people who vote for independence all the time in Scotland, or 40%, you've got to get everyone behind you on the union vote, haven't you?
So what I say in the Shoppers is, I think we fall into a trap if we think those that support independence, the saltire belongs to them. And if we think those that support the United Kingdom, that the Union Jack belongs to them. In actual fact, the saltire belongs to every Scot, regardless of where they sit on the independence question. And not every Scot will be comfortable with a Union Jack, because some will believe in fundamental independence. For me,
the saltire's in there, of course.
For me, of course it is. For me, the saltire is my flag. I believe in Scotland. Scotland is a phenomenal nation with amazing things to offer the world and offer the rest of the United Kingdom, but it's not got a government that meets that ambition in Scotland. And do I support? Am I proud of the fact we're part of a broader family of nations, the United Kingdom? Of course I am. That's why I led my party's campaign for Scotland to remain in the United Kingdom. It's why I don't support independence. It's why I don't support a referendum. But don't let anyone, and again I say this to every single person living in Scotland, regardless of where they sit on that constitutional question, don't let anyone tell you that the saltire does not belong to you, or the saltire only belongs to the nationalists. The saltire is all of our flags, and don't let it be owned by them.
Anas Sarwar, it's great to talk to you
My
at the
pleasure.
Labour conference. We'll see more of you on GB News over the next few months, I
I
hope.
look forward to it.
Good, thank you for coming. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Now, I tweet at Christopher Hope at X. Tell me what you think. I also, you can email me, chopper@gbnews.uk. If you enjoyed this show, please do tell your friends. If you really enjoyed it, Leave a 5-star rating and a review on Apple Podcasts and elsewhere, and Spotify, to help other people find it. Thanks to the great team of GB News colleagues behind this podcast, Mick Booker, Jeff Marsh and George McMillan, and the queen bee of them all who makes it all happen. That, of course, is Rebecca Nunes, my producer. Most importantly of all, thank you for listening. If you want more Chopper in your life, and who doesn't, catch me during the week at gbnews.com and GB News website and GB News' channel, of course, for your latest political updates and scoops. And do stay tuned to our website, of course, gbnews.com. But until next time from Liverpool, well, I'll be in Manchester pretty soon. Join us there. Cheerio!